Hello everyone. I, Subramanya Hegde, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, KLS VDIT Haryana, welcoming you all for the lecture series on utilization of electrical power. The subject code is 17E742, 7 semester, module number 3 and lecture number 24. Today I am going to explain different type of railway services, speed time curve, moment of train, the definition of crest speed, average speed and schedule speed, the factor affecting on schedule speed, then derivation for trapezoidal speed time curve. The learning outcomes of this lecture. After this lecture, the student will able to understand the types of railway services, speed time curve, moments of train, crest speed, average speed and schedule speed. Contents covered in previous lecture. In previous lecture, we studied the overhead current collecting devices. There are three types of current collecting devices: trolley collector, bow collector, and pantograph collector. Trolley collector, the maximum it can withstand up to few ampere, 100 amperes. Okay, it consists of a trolley, and the trolley is attached to the wire. It is in trailing position up to 32 km per hour speed. The trolley collector we can use. When more than 32 km per hour speed, the trolley start to slip, then the continuous current collection is not possible. Okay, there is an interruption to the current collection. In order to overcome that, bow collector is used, a soft material. The collector is in the shape of bow. Normally, copper, aluminum, bronze material is used. Up to 130 kilometers, 120 kilometers per hour. We can use. It collects maximum 3000 amperes. Then the third one is pantograph collector. The collector in the shape of pentagon, made up from stainless steel, and it will stand for high wind pressure. It can carry the current up to 2 kiloampere to 3 kiloampere, and the speed more than 120 kilometer per hour. Normally it is used for electric train service. Later we studied the railway electrification, how the railway system, railway line is connected to the substation. A duplicate line is normally maintained in order to increase the reliability. If fault occurs in one of the line, the example, if the DC system, there are AC or DC, there are two lines are maintained. One line for to supply the electricity, another line is duplicate. If one line fails to operate, another line comes into the picture. Also we studied the negative booster. In order to improve the regulation, negative booster is used. The complete setup consists of positive booster. Positive booster add the voltage. Okay, normal voltage range is plus or minus 7 volts. Okay, when voltage is less, positive booster adds the voltage. When voltage is more than the limit, negative booster reduce the voltage. Next one, we studied electrolysis by current through earth. As we know, when negative conductor is earthed, okay, through rail poles, when a traction system receives the electrical power from the positive line, obviously current flows through the negative and it goes to the earth and it's spread inside the earth. If pipeline is placed underneath of pipeline is placed below the track level, okay, then current flows through those pipeline, and current flows through that resistance path, and it creates chemical reaction between the pipe. Okay, ultimately it reduces the life of the gas pipeline or water pipeline. So in order to overcome this, pipes are well insulated, and in order to avoid this electrolysis effect, and chemical is used. These are the topics covered in previous class. We'll see the types of railway service. The railway offers following three types of the passenger service. Those three types are urban, urban or city service, suburban service, and mainline service. City or urban service. In this type, the service in this type of service, there are frequent stops. In urban service, there are frequent stops. The distance between two stops is 1 kilometer, maximum 1 kilometer. Okay? In order to achieve moderately high scheduled speed between the station, it is essential to have high acceleration and high retardation. Okay? Here acceleration of the train is more as well as braking retardation also more. It is urban service. The best example, metro trains. Next one, suburban service. Suburban service, the distance between the two stops is between 3 to 5 kilometers over a distance of 25 to 30 kilometers from the city terminus. In this case also, the high rate of acceleration and retardation is required, similar to the urban service. The third category is main line service. Main line service operation over long routes and stops are infrequent. Okay, 50 kilometer, 100 kilometers, sometimes 150 kilometers, and operating high speed and acceleration and braking periods are relatively less important. Okay. The first two category, the braking period is very important. Here braking period is not important. Okay, the high acceleration, the high speed. The three types of service available on goods traffic are: one is main live freight service, the shunting service, and local or pickup freight service. Based on the distance, acceleration, and retardation, the railway service is classified as urban, suburban, and mainline service. To understand the train movement, we require speed time curve. You see the speed time curve for train movement. The movement of train and their energy consumption can be conveniently studied by means of speed time or speed distance curve. As their name suggests, the speed of the train at various times after the starts of run and later gives speed at various distance from the starting point. Out of two, speed time curve is more important because of the reason is it slope gives acceleration or retardation at this case. Second one, the area between it and the horizontal axis represent the distance traveled. Third one, the energy required for the propulsion can be calculated from the resistance to the motion of the train is known. See, when we give electrical supply to the train, when train receives the electricity, the motor start to run and the train cross the distance with respect to the time. In order to understand the speed of the train and time required to cross the distance, reach the distance, we require this speed time curve. At the same time, when a train reaches to the destination from the starting point, it consumes the electrical energy. Okay, when a train travels a certain distance with respect to the time, okay, it consumes electrical energy. So third part is energy required for the propulsion. Okay. Consider speed time curve here. X-axis is time, y-axis is speed. Speed versus time. Okay. The slope in this curve. Either it is acceleration or retardation. Slope always indicates acceleration or retardation. So here a typical speed time curve is considered. Okay. So O point to A point. Initially train is in rest condition. When electrical supply is applied to the train overcomes the inertia. Train has a specific mass. Train must overcome the inertia. Then it accelerates. So gradually accelerates. The train is gradually accelerates. Okay, from O to A. Then A to B. The speed start to increasing. Once it overcome the inertia, it takes the load. Okay, and it comes to the normal speed. From B to C, here train achieves maximum speed. Okay, train achieves maximum speed. It's called as free running period. O to A is rheostatic acceleration. The time required for rheostatic acceleration is 0 to T1, O to A, and A to B is called as acceleration on speed curve. This is the time required. It's a T2. Time is T2 at the end of point B, where B to C is free running period. Train achieves its maximum speed from B to C point. Here the time is T2, T3. Then C to D is called as costing. Okay. After the free running period, the costing period start. Costing period means electrical supply is disconnected from the train. Train is continuously moving and it utilizes stored kinetic energy. The train stores the kinetic energy during the period from O to C in rheostatic acceleration on speed curve and free running period. Train stores the energy and it dissipates the energy in the costing period C to D. Okay. When train dissipates the stored kinetic energy in it, its speed gradually reduces. In order to stop the train, braking is essential. D to E, braking is essential. This is T5. Train comes to the rest position. Okay, so this is speed time curve. The first one is constant acceleration period. 0 to T1, constant acceleration period. It is also called as notching up or starting period because during this period, starting resistance of the motor is gradually cut out so that the motor current is maintained nearly constant, which produces constant acceleration. Okay, constant acceleration, alternatively called as rheostatic acceleration or acceleration. The second one, acceleration on speed curve. Once the train overcomes the inertia, the second one is T1 to T2 period. This acceleration commences after the starting resistance has been all cut out. Initially, in order to restrict the current flows through the motor, okay, gradually the current is applied, electrical supply is applied to the motor in order to avoid the more current circulation during the starting, in order to protect the motor from the starting current. Okay, so gradually resistance is reduced. Initially resistance is high. When resistance is cut out, more current is flows through the motor and it develops more torque. Okay, but at point T1 and full supply voltage has been applied to the motor. During this period, the motor current and the torque decreases as train speed increases. Initially, torque requirement is more. As and when the train overcome the inertia, it requires less torque. Gradually, speed increases. Hence, the acceleration gradually decreases till torque developed by the motors exactly balances that due to resistances, so that train motion, okay, so that train motion, the shape of the shape of proportion AB, okay, shape of portion AB of the speed time curve depends primarily on the torque speed characteristics of the traction motor. The third one is free running period T2 to T3. The train continue to run at the speed reached at the point 2 T2. It is represented by the portion BC, okay, and the constant speed period which occurs at the level track. Okay. Thus, at the end of the speed curve, here with reference to this figure, at the end of the point B, the free running period start. Train achieves maximum speed. It's also called as crest speed. The next one, costing period T3 to T4. Power to the motor is cut off at point T3 so that the train runs under the momentum. The speed gradually falling due to the friction and windage, etc. Train is moving, it utilizes the stored kinetic energy in it. Okay. Gradually, speed reduces because of the friction between the wheel and the track. Then opposition offered from the windage, and during this period retardation remains practically constant. Costing is desirable because it utilizes some of this kinetic energy of the train which would otherwise be wasted during the braking period. If we skip costing period, then stored kinetic energy is dissipated during the braking period. When brakes are applied, there is a friction between the brake. If it is a mechanical braking, there is a friction between the brake shoes and wheel. Stored kinetic energy is converted in the form of heat. Okay, if we able to convert kinetic energy to the electrical energy, then braking is called as regenerative braking. Okay? It helps to reduce the energy consumption of the train. Last one, in order to stop the train, braking is essential. That is T4 to T5. At this point, brakes are applied and the train is brought to the rest at point T5. It may be noted that costing and braking are governed by the train resistance and allowed retardation respectively. So this is all about simplified speed time curve. We'll see the speed time curve for urban, suburban and mainline service. This is urban service. This is suburban service. This is main line. As we know, in urban service, the distance between the two stops is 1 kilometer. Here, high acceleration is used. High acceleration is used. There is no free running period. There is no free running period. This is costing and this is braking. Okay. High acceleration, and suddenly electrical supply is cut off from the train, costing, and brakes are applied. Sudden brakes are applied. Okay. This is all about urban. Then suburban. Gradually acceleration is increased. There is no free running period. Then costing period, and then brake period. This one mainline service. Here stops are infrequent. Here we can see notching period, acceleration period, free running period, costing, and braking. Okay. We'll see a few important definition. First one, crest speed. Crest speed means it is the maximum speed attained by the train during the run. Maximum speed attained by the train during the run. It is only possible in free running period. Okay, it's called as Vm. The notation of crest speed is Vm. It's also called as maximum speed. Second one, average speed. Average speed is defined as the ratio of distance covered, the ratio of distance covered between two stops and total time of run including stop time. Okay, sorry, the distance covered between the two stops divided by actual time of run. Here average speed is VA. Average speed is equal to distance between the two stops divided by actual time of run. Actual time of run called as average speed. The third one, scheduled speed. It is defined as the ratio of distance covered between the two stops and total time of run including stop time. Including stop time. Here VSCH scheduled speed is equal to distance between the stop divided by actual time of run plus stop time. Okay, the scheduled speed is always smaller than the average speed because in this denominator, the formula VA, the denominator only includes t. Here it is t plus ts. VSCH is always less than VA. The difference is large in case of urban and suburban service and is negligible small in case of mainline service. In order to have fairly good scheduled speed for urban and suburban service, the stop must be reduced. In order to increase VSCH, either we need to decrease the actual time of run or stop time, because this T and Ts is inversely proportional to this scheduled speed. It is recommended to have stop time of 15 to 20 seconds for small service. The effect of stop time on the scheduled speed for mainline service is negligible, small if the stop time is seconds or few minutes. Again, for high scheduled speed, especially for suburban or urban service, it is desirable to have high acceleration and high value of the maximum velocity. The scheduled speed of the given train when running on the given service is depending upon the three factors. One is acceleration and braking retardation. Second one, maximum or crest speed. And third one, duration of the stop. The scheduled speed is depending upon acceleration and braking, maximum or crest speed, and duration of the stop. We'll see the acceleration and braking, how it will affect into the scheduled speed. For a given run with fixed crest speed, the increase in acceleration will result decrease in actual time. We can reduce the actual time of run by increasing the acceleration. Okay. Then increase in braking retardation will affect the speed. The variation in the acceleration and retardation will have more effect on scheduled speed in case of shorter distance running comparison as with longer distance run. Okay, short means urban and suburban. Second one, maximum speed. With fixed acceleration and retardation for constant distance run, the actual time of run will be decreased. Therefore, scheduled speed will be increased with increase in crest speed. In case of long distance run, the effect of variation in crest speed on scheduled speed is considerable. Third one, duration of the stop. The scheduled speed for a given average speed will increase by reducing the duration of the stop. The variation in the duration of the stop will affect the scheduled speed more in case of shorter distance run in comparison to longer distance run. So all about scheduled speed, crest speed and average speed. The next one, simplified speed time curve. Simplified speed time curve. The simplified speed time curve for urban, suburban, and mainline service is shown. Approximately these services resembles trapezoid. Okay, that's why the trapezoidal speed time curve is widely used to analyze the moment of train. Okay, momentum of train. This speed time curve for urban service can be replaced by equivalent speed time curve of simple quadrilateral shape. Then speed time curve for the main line service is best and most easily replaced by trapezoid. So area under the trapezium is always say the distance traveled by the train with respect to the time. As we know, this is the acceleration period. Here I am considering mainline service. This is acceleration period. Speed versus time. Speed is Vm, this is Va speed, and this is time. Electrical supply is applied. Train overcome the inertia, it's accelerated, and it reaches to O point, O to A point. So it's acceleration period. T1 is the acceleration period. Then A to B free running period. A to B free running period. Here train achieves maximum speed. That's why it is Vm. Okay, this is a Vm is a crest speed, maximum speed. Train achieves maximum speed under free running period only. Later brakes are applied. The free running period is T2. Then this is braking period. Okay. Now we need to find what is the distance traveled by the train with respect to the speed Vm and this time T. If we able to calculate area under this trapezium OABC, the trapezium OABC, we can calculate distance traveled by the train. Either we can use the area, the trapezium area formula, otherwise, okay, this trapezium is divided into three parts, two triangles, two triangles. First triangle is related to the acceleration, the second triangle related to the retardation, and this square is related to the free running period. Here we can name OAD. OAD is first triangle, then the area of this triangle plus area of ABED plus area of BEC will give area of this trapezium. We can use half BH formula to find the area of triangle. Okay, here one side is T1, another side is Vm. We can calculate the trapeze, to calculate the triangle area. Here D is the distance between the two stops in meter, where T is actual time of run between the stops, seconds. Alpha acceleration during the starting period, meter per square, meter per second square, and beta is the retardation during braking period, meter per second square, and Vm is maximum speed or crest speed, meter per second, where Va is the average speed. As we know, velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Here already we took distance in meter and time in seconds. So average speed in meter per second, where T1 is time of acceleration, where T1 is time of acceleration, where T3 is time of braking, where T2 is time of free running. Okay, T2 is equal to T minus T1 plus T3. The acceleration constant alpha is equal to Vm divided by T1. Vm divided by T1, or T1 is equal to maximum speed divided by acceleration constant alpha, where brake retardation constant beta is equal to crest speed divided by T3. T3 is equal to Vm divided by beta. Since the total distance between the stops is given by area of trapezium OABC, that is D is equal to ABC is equal to area of OABC is equal to area of OAD, that is first triangle related to the acceleration, then square area ABED, then the second triangle related to the braking BEC, area of BEC, half BH formula for triangle to calculate the area, half into VM, height VM, where breadth is T1, then this is Vm into T2, this is half Vm into T3. Okay, as we know, T2 is equal to T2 is equal to, here T2 is equal to, so you know T is equal to what? T1 plus T2 plus T3. Okay, what about T2 then? T2 is equal to T minus T1 plus T3. Okay, same values computed here, T minus T1 plus T3. Okay, here I am taking V1 as common, Vm as common. Remaining one is T1 by T2 plus T minus T1 minus T3 plus T3 by T2. Here we got Vm is equal to T minus half T1 plus T3, T1 plus T3. Here I am substituting T1 value and T3 value, where T1 is Vm by alpha, where T3 is Vm by beta. Okay, Vm by beta. Here again I am taking Vm outside, T minus, this is Vm by alpha plus Vm by beta, taking Vm outside, Vm by half, 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta, where k is equal to half. Okay, I am taking k is equal to half 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. Okay, that is equal to alpha plus beta divided by 2 alpha beta. Then substituting the value of k in the above equation. Okay, here we got d is equal to Vm t minus k, where k is equal to half into 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. Here we got Vm t minus k Vm. Okay, I am writing the equation in this manner, k Vm square minus Vmt plus d is equal to 0. Okay, by solving the equation number 3, here we got Vm is equal to t plus or minus t square minus 4kd divided by 2k. Normally we are taking minus, not plus or minus, or not plus, it is minus, because in practically train never achieves its maximum speed. Okay, its speed is not greater than Vm, it is impossible to meet, that's why minus is considered. So standard formula now, Vm is equal to t minus t under square root t square minus 4kd divided by 2k. To calculate k value, one formula is alpha plus beta divided by 2 alpha beta. Another formula, k is equal to t divided by Vm. Okay, T divided by Vm minus d by Vm square. That is equal to d by Vm square, Vm d by t minus d. Okay, where d by t, distance divided by time is average speed, average velocity or average speed, where t by d is 1 by Va. D by t is Va, t by d is 1 by Va. So k is equal, I am computing this Va value, t by d is as 1 by Va. So k is equal to d divided by Vm square, Vm by Va minus 1. Okay, we can calculate Vm from this formula, t minus under square root t square minus 4kt divided by 2k. K we can calculate from half into 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta, or d by Vm square into Vm by Va minus 1. The railway service is broadly classified as urban, suburban, and mainline service. Speed time curve is help us to calculate the distance traveled by the train with respect to the given speed and the time. Trapezoidal speed time curve is employed to find the characteristics of mainline service. Then quadrilateral for urban and suburban. This comes under understanding level, Bloom's text level. These are the references. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you one and all.